Hey guys, before we dive into the show, I wanted to tell you about the perfect trailer cue blueprint, which is 100% free, and you can download it right now over at thetrailermusicschool.com/blueprint. Now, this blueprint will help you to completely understand the structure of trailer music, how to build tracks that will be more licensable and have more impact and capture the right people's attention. So, whenever you start writing a cue, make sure you've got this blueprint to hand and you can use it to help speed up your process, feel more confident that you've crafted a well-structured trailer cue before you send it off to that publisher or editor or supervisor. Okay, let's get into the episode. Hey guys, you've heard it from me so many times about how awesome the Protégé course is. So I thought it was probably best for you to hear from some of our students.
I went into the Protégé course with a pretty unhealthy amount of insecurity about the music I was writing at the time, struggling to structure tracks, to finish them on a regular basis.
We're going to have a bunch of people basically working in the industry, get briefs every week, and then we publish them. I was like, what? That sounds like insane. I've never heard of any other people doing that sort of thing, like actually like mentoring people on like the level of like, no, we're doing it for an entire year. Yeah, that's why I think the Protégé thing is just amazing, because it's targeted. It's okay, we want this type of music for this type of application. Let's do it. And then, okay, here's where you fell short. Here's where you succeeded. And it's just amazing.
I feel like I've learned so much and improved so much in my production skills. I've gotten better at percussion and better at my capacity to write tracks quicker has improved. And I've gotten better at properly responding to feedback, and I feel like now there is more of a future for me in the library world than there was before I started.
It's definitely a course that I would recommend doing. There are so many courses out there, but this one really hammers home on how to write to brief, how to write quickly, and how to write expertly as well. Honestly, the videos are very user-friendly, they're very engaging, and you get to have breakdowns of some of Richard's most successful tracks, or Elephant Music's most successful tracks, which has been really useful as well. So I thoroughly recommend to dive right in.
Protégé was one of the best investments that I ever made in my career. It did level up my game, and not just in skill, but also in my confidence. It just made me a more professional composer and a better composer.
But the course did exactly what it intended to do, in that it kind of demystified the whole composition process, taught me a bunch of good habits. And I suppose most importantly, and what I'm the most grateful for, is the fact that it actually helped me to really enjoy writing music again.
There you have it, guys. We are opening our doors for applications for the 21-22 masterclass year with Protégé.school. Go to protégé.tiny.us/apply. That's protégé.tiny.us/apply to start your application.
Three men with 3 microphones and 1 awesome podcast. Welcome to the Trailer Music Composers Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to another session of the Trailer Music Composers Podcast. Today we have another banter show. So in this one, we're talking about writing for publishers, accepting feedback and criticism, and how difficult that can be. Not taking it personally, and make sure you kind of distance yourself from your music. And that takes time. It's not something you just switch off. So if you do find it hard to kind of accept criticism, give yourself that room to feel those emotions. Don't deny those emotions. That's important. Also, we talk about custom work, and it's just awesome. I hope you're enjoying these band shows. I know we certainly have been enjoying them, and you guys are absolute legends. It's really interesting you say, because obviously I started my career, my first sort of trailer stuff was with Pusher, and I just think this has all come full circle beautifully, because pretty much all I ever heard when I worked for Pusher was like this doesn't sound big enough. This doesn't sound big enough. Because at the time, I was writing to the same briefs as Sign Volpine, as Superhuman, all of these guys who just, they were smashing it back then, but since then have really like found their stride completely. I'm not even sure that's the right term for it. They are formidable writers and producers. And back then, that was just me with Omnisphere and my East-West samples struggling. Like, how do I make drums big?
It's the worst thing to hear. Can the track be bigger? Can there be a little bit more? I don't feel the punch.
Yeah. Where was your masterclass then, Cody?
Great question. The thing I always hate to hear is, this is a great start. Let me know when it's finished.
Oh, that's the worst. and you know what? It's a thing where I think we talked about this because I'll call it the Richard Schreiber syndrome with elephant music. It's the, hey, can you get a 30-second demo to us, please? Because this is what Rich does, and it works out brilliantly. So I'll get the 30-second demo in, and it'll be kind of, I'm happy, but I know where this track is going to go. And then I'll get, listen, this is great, but I hope it's going to get bigger, or I hope it will be this, or maybe it'll be this. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in a pool of tears on my studio floor going, oh, I should have said a minute.
Yeah, well, that's come out of mostly because, I like to work fast, and also, like, I would jump onto an album late. So it's kind of a combination of me like wanting to get as many tracks onto the album as possible. So I'll be like, okay, I've got a writing session today, and the deadline for the album tracks is today. So I've got 2 hours. How many 30-second demos can I send in? Bosh, here's 7.
Wow.
And I don't know where they're all going necessarily, but I know through the process and through the fact that I know structure, Vic knows structure, we know build, that's kind of the way our relationship has worked best, because I have found the way that you guys would prefer to work, which is like basically handing in my completed beautiful piece of music, with shaking hands and black rings under my eyes. Yeah. I found that too emotional. Like, when I deliver a piece and the publisher, in fact, this is one of the reasons why I pretty much only write for Elephant, when I deliver it to a publisher, and they go, doesn't sound big enough. No!
It's the fear, isn't it? Like, every time you send a track off and you're waiting for the email, and all you want to get back is, hey, great job. We love your track. Get it stemmed. It's perfect. And I mean, it depends on the publisher. Some publishers do that. Some publishers don't. But it's crushing when you get a page of feedback. I don't like the way this has gone. Maybe you could change the strings for, spoons. Like it kills you. But I mean, that's unfortunate. The way I always look at it is, anytime I get criticism, and I don't know if I'm going completely off topic here, but is that I need to keep trying to be at the best I can be, or I won't have any money to pay my mortgage. Because there will be somebody else coming up that will be 10 times better than me. And so if I just sit on my laurels and say, my music's great, I'm brilliant, look what I've landed in the past, you'll end up fading away pretty quickly because you won't be paying attention to what's going on. And although it's crushing to get the feedback of, like, I don't like your act 2, or I don't like the way this is gone, it's very monotonous, or it's looping. They're not telling you that just because they hate you. They're telling it because it's the truth. But that is something, if you want to be in this industry, I think you get very good at accepting constructive criticism, not just criticism. I think, like, say Richard has a great sound. I mean, you're like, I can't get near. I don't know how you do your sound. I've studied your sound, and I can see you're like, every few bars things change. I'm like, but I can't hear that. I can't hear how I can change every few bars and do what you do in such a minimal, simplistic way. and it's crazy. But if I went and said I'm going to become, if somebody, what's the old adage? If a fish was, what is it? If a fish was basically graded on its ability to climb a tree, it would spend its whole life thinking that it's stupid.
That's great. I love that.
I thought it was a good one. And I think, it's just, these publishers are not telling you this because, they hate your guts. It's because that this is what's going to land music for them and for you. And that's just what it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you have to try and take the emotion out of it. Or at least, as you say, Ciaran, try and find out if you were a fish and not a bird.
Exactly. Because you found an amazing niche for yourself. I mean, and you still, you landed WandaVision this year. WandaVision is Marvel. As in, Marvel generally go for superhero, big, huge things. Your music fits absolutely perfect in that trailer. So
filth. Filth.
It's like Richard went and contacted Marvel and said, "Why did you put this in?"
We just needed some filth for that spot, guys. But that's the. I mean, I see what you're saying when you're saying you're worried. There's a kind of concern about someone, the young blood coming up and taking your place. But over the years, that's my view on that has completely shifted, because I started my career, with Pusher, which is a big, big deal, and with other great composers. Not I'm saying I'm great. I'm just saying it with other people who were great, and they overtook because they were much better at those things at the time. And it wasn't until I found my thing and the way that I like writing best, the way I like producing, that all of a sudden it started to work for me. So just because one publisher doesn't like your work doesn't mean it doesn't have a chance for success elsewhere. When I didn't land the Star Trek trailer and the Man of Steel trailer with Pusher, I was broken. I was a broken man. But that for me, that was the end of my career. At the time, I remember sitting in the park going what am I going to do now? I'm just rubbish. I can't do anything. I can't achieve anything. Now looking back on that, I was like, oh, poor little guy. What do you expect? Walking on your second custom and winning Star Trek? No.
Yeah, I think you become very naive. I remember when I signed for Release Emotion, so they were my first publisher, and I remember seeing a guy, Thomas Vo, wrote on the first album that I wrote on, and I think the day after the album was released, Release Emotion put up saying, "Oh my God, this is the way we roll. Album only released, and congratulations to Thomas Vo, you landed this Asian action movie." But I was like, whoa, it's out in the industry one day and somebody cut a trailer in one day to this guy's music, not knowing that obviously he'd submitted it months ago and they were pitching the music as it goes. But I remember every single morning after that album was released, I went to check my phone when I woke up, thinking that maybe the music supervisor for Release Emotion will be messaging me going, "Ciaran, you landed your first trailer." And I didn't land a trailer for a year after I started with the publisher. So, and it wasn't even Release Emotion, it was Colossal Trailer Music. And it's so funny how, I look back and I'm the same with the little boy. I'm like, God bless. How could you have been so silly? These things take time and these things take practice and, application and hard work. And I wonder how many new people going into the industry are in the same boat. I imagine there's a huge amount of people.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you almost have to think of it in a cold manner. As soon as you're done with it and you turn it in, you have to almost be I don't care anymore. Because if you hold on to it and you wake up every day and think, okay, today's the day I'm going to hear about landing this custom that I've been working on with the editor back and forth through my publisher, and I know I've got it, and you keep waiting every day, you're setting yourself up for potentially a huge letdown that will maybe quite crushing. So you have to deliver with the expectation that you're not going to get it, is pretty much the way I approach it in my mind. And then when I do land it, it's of course just excitement and joy, but I plan to not get it.
Isn't it crazy though? Like, as in, like, obviously, I suppose the three of us are probably trying to be as positive in life as we can.
Right.
And yet, is in the way to cope in this industry is to be really negative and set no expectations.
I don't think it's being negative. I think it's being positive in a different way.
Exactly. Exactly.
You're not releasing an album going, I'm never going to get anything. You're releasing an album going, done, on to the next.
Yeah, that's a better way of looking at it. Yeah.
Sorry, that's, assuming Ciaran's like ever release an album. Oh,
I do that. I actually do cry afterwards. It's not from the releasing the album. It's from the hard work and the, hey, when's the album done? Hey, we got the album done. Is the album done? Is the album done? Is the album done? And I'm like, oh God.
You can finally sleep and take a break. You're crying because you're like on the brink of dying.
Yeah, afraid once I've done an album, I'm like, if I go to sleep now, will I wake back up? It's that hardcore. But yeah, I heard I had a great chat with an editor about because I don't really know like, I mean, how many years am I at this now? 7 years. Wow, 7 years since I signed to my first publisher. And I still don't really know how the inner workings of trailers go. I know bits and pieces, but from who cuts them and the client getting feedback,
and in a command for how it goes up the ladder.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I'm still piecing bits together. And mainly because I don't want to be bothering the people who are obviously the gods who cut our trailers and make our trailers and pick our music.
Thank you to all of them, by the way.
Thank you to all of them. Yeah. And to be honest, it's crazy the amount of trailers that I've heard my music in, and I'm like, wow, how did they make my music sound so good? I mean, there's been trailers where I've gotten praise and I'm like, oh, well done for cutting, like, is it there's my headphone gone. For putting stops in certain places or a riser in something. I'm like, I didn't do that. The editor, the music supervisor did that. But sorry, is in the chances of even the editor landing the trailer is so slim on customs. Everyone could be working. If it's a big movie, everybody's working on it.
Yeah. And several versions of the trailer as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I usually think if I'm pitching on it, that I'm pitching on the trailer. So, I might be one of 5 or 6 composers from that publisher pitching on the trailer. But then there's 15 or 20 other publishers pitching with 15 or 20 other trailer houses.
With pre-existing catalogue as well, not just custom.
Yes, exactly. So to be honest, instead of being disheartened by it, I kind of said, oh my God, how have I landed so many trailers? It kind of really made me think and go, the odds are so slim. So yeah, it's staggering sometimes when you think about it.
One of the moments that made me realize that too was I was working on, I tell this story all the time, so if I've ever mentioned this on this show, I'm sorry. But I was working on an Ant-Man trailer for Ant-Man 2, and I was working on it for like maybe 4 or 5 months or something like that. Went through tons and tons of versions, and I got down to the very end, and I was being told feedback from from my publisher about how producers were saying, oh, we love it, it's great, and it had worked its way up the ladder to a point where it's like, okay, I think I have a real shot at landing this. And it got down to 1 week before the trailer was supposed to come out, and my publisher told me, okay, they're down to 10 cuts that they're trying to decide between.
Wow, 10 cuts.
And so this is a week before they were releasing. They were going through 10 cuts, putting them through like sample audiences, test audiences.
Yeah.
To test how well they're received. But I remember being so like kind of crushed at that point. Like, well, I've been working on this for so long with even some of the higher ups, like seemingly giving me great feedback. Like they love it and they want to use it, only to find out that there's still a 1 in 10 chance, 1 in 10 shot that I've got it. So wow. that kind of set some perspective to me about about how much there is in between you and actually landing a trailer. And when it comes to like regular trailers, not custom stuff, but just like my stuff being pitched that's from an album, I prefer to not even know about it until it lands.
Yeah, I don't know about it generally. I used to want to know, oh, hey man, you're in for X trailer, because it kind of made my ego feel great. Like, oh, I could go and tell the family, oh my God, my music might be used in, like Taken 70. And actually, I think it was Taken 3. I think, was it Taken? That was a thing. I remember at the start, when I first started writing, I think my music was in for one of Liam Neeson's movies. And I was just telling everybody, oh my God, I'm in for this, thinking that it was so simple. It was nearly there, just over the line. And then I heard absolutely nothing. And yeah, sometimes like it sounds like we're being very negative about this industry, but I mean, it's full of talented people. It's full of, multiple options for different cuts and TV spots. But at the same time, like I did a custom just finished today, and it was 2 days to write a 2.5 minute track, which for Richard would take 25 minutes. For me, it took 2 days. But in what other world would you be able to manage your family time? And, okay, I worked not late, but as in I still got to, hang out with my 6-month-old son throughout the day and watch TV with Jill for a few hours on last night. And then I went to bed early and got up early. But instead, if you're working on a film, or like even in Ireland, film rates are so low. If you were to get like short films or TV work, I can manage my time so well, and I can do all the things I still want and still write loads of music and still earn a good living from it if it's quality music. So to be honest, I mean, I wouldn't, with all the odds and crazy customs and multiple cuts and everything, I wouldn't probably be in anything else if I had a choice.
I think that's like a beautiful way to end this. Not forever, just there. Like, I think you're totally right. Customs are, I think, the hardest part of trailer music. I think writing for a library where you get to write music in your specific genre, usually to a much more relaxed schedule, where your music is then pitched, and like Cody said, where you don't have to find out when it's being pitched, you just get that wonderful message that's like, just landed a trailer, cashback,
boom.
That's how I like working. Although it's gotten to the point now where I just get the email from my accountant saying, just pay this invoice. Yes. Nice. And I'm like, oh wow, look at that trailer. I got some stuff on the Tom and Jerry trailer.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's probably just some of my awful sound effects, but but that's the thing, if you just, the way the trailer industry works and the money that we get from a trailer affords us the time to pursue the things that really matter and that are really important.
Also the longevity of the music. I mean, I'm still, like, tracks that I wrote in 2015 are still landing in 2021. You don't get that anywhere else, and even the TV work you can get from that and the royalties. I mean, don't mean to be ragging on film music, but as in the longevity, like the amount of effort and collaboration, and obviously some people absolutely love that, but it depends on the person. But I think we're all in it for, for me, it's the challenge of every single time I go to write a 2-minute track, it's like I've started the wheel all over again. It's such a challenge to, how can I squeeze emotion, tension, and everything that will sell this film and make people go, wow. Like with the Rise of Skywalker trailer you just showed us, I was smiling, from ear to ear, like, and I've watched that so many times. And the emotion and what it brings out in you, that's what I love the challenge of. And when you see you can listen to your music, trailer music, it's great, but when you see it mashed to picture, it's just magical. It's just phenomenal.
there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I know we certainly did. Now, don't forget to leave a review of the show on iTunes, please. Those reviews are huge for me. They really kind of allow my show to be found more, which, as you know, traffic is pretty crucial when it comes to this type of stuff. So thank you so much for listening, guys. You're absolute legends. I really appreciate you coming in, week out, and giving me your time. And I only hope that I'm giving you the value that you deserve. See you, chaps.